Silence your cell phones, please.
No one calls me.
That means it is silent.
Exactly.
Do you know our weekend planner?
Some asshole. Matt Eisman from American Ninja Warrior.
Next week?
This week.
Next week?
Next week, Ian Bagg from Comedy Central. In Claremont this week is Tony Baker from Last Comic Standing.
That's right.
And next week is Alice Wetterland from MTV's The Girl Code.
Wait,
Have you seen that one?
this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
Hey, he's currently on Last Comic Standing,
We're gonna start.
which is NBC's lowest rated comedy program.
I'm ready when you are, so just let me know.
Okay, we're gonna have to share a microphone with Brent, okay?
It's fine.
He can grab that one right now and come sit over here.
Hey, Ed.
So,
Hey, Dave.
Sup?
that was
What
my
is-
surfer
Tried to
impression.
get Crystal up here, but
What is up?
I can probably add some more mics if you want.
no, we're fine.
Just
We'll-
press play. Let's
Yep.
get this shit going.
Alright.
Get a special effect.
As usual, when you hear the music, we're recording.
Great.
Dun 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 dun
That music?
dun dun dun.
Ladies and gents, it is time once again for another exciting episode of the FlappCast. Behind the funny. Thanks for the background vocals, guys. I'm Barbara Holliday, and this is my co-host singing, Joshua Snyder. We have two very special guests here today. We have Brent Lowrey, the co-producer of the Burbank Comedy Festival,
Hey.
and Dave Reinitz,
Hello. Sound effects.
co-owner of Flappers and a comedian. He's disappointed I didn't call him a comedian. Sorry, I should have said comedian first.
I'm not disappointed by anything.
Yeah, you're disappointed by a lot.
I'm not. I
Me
live a life of
included.
gratitude.
All right. In case you don't know, we are a couple, yes.
There we go. I didn't know.
How
I'd be
often
the
do you
first
do
to say
it?
That's not really what the podcast is about.
Well, the podcast is about whatever I want it to be
Spin
about,
off.
Dave Reinitz.
Spin
Yeah.
off.
Actually, we
You didn't
were-
answer my question.
What
How
was
often do you do it?
Oh,
jeez.
God.
Really, Josh?
Do
Yes.
Grow
you mean
up.
make sandwiches? Remember? Isn't it
I
make
think you
called
evaluate
make
the budget
sandwiches?
quarterly, right?
We do
Grow
evaluate the
up.
budget
That's what he
daily.
was asking.
We
How
evaluate the
often do you
budget
do it?
daily.
Wow. Impressive.
Daily.
No,
Yep.
we don't. We don't look at the budget.
We don't?
No.
Certainly weekly.
Right.
That would
Yeah,
make
but
it
we
seem.
do talk on a microphone often. Does that count?
Sure.
Whoa.
don't know what
Thank
that
you,
metaphor
ladies.
is of.
Somebody.
You've lost
yeah.
listeners already.
All right. Well, listen. Today we're very excited because we just announced.
All of the comedians who will be performing in the Burbank Comedy Festival.
That's right. It's very exciting. And how many hits did we get on the Burbank Comedy Festival website?
At least 26,000, which was a
Wow.
record by about 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I assume it was mostly comedians checking to see if they were accepted, and we got a lot of tweets yesterday from people saying, "Hey, I'm going to be in the Burbank Comedy Festival. Really excited." Some people as far as New York, Dallas, San Francisco,
So-
all over.
San Francisco really not that far.
Not
It's just
very
up the road.
far.
Brent,
Yeah.
Brent, what is this Burbank Comedy Festival? Tell us
Well,
about it.
It's
Tell
going
us.
to be a week of classes, panels, podcasts, showcases. Adam Carolla is doing his podcast here. That's a special event. We're going to have after parties, open mics. There's really something for everybody. We
Once
just sold
again,
a program
sounds like a
ad.
man.
Tell us about
What?
that. Yeah, we just sold a program. Our first program ad went to Market City Cafe. They deserve a
Woo,
shout
they get a
out.
plug.
Oh, they're nice. They do
Go
a nice
Market
job.
City
It's a
Cafe.
beautiful little outdoor
They
dining
have
area.
a patio.
So we almost went there for dinner just the other night. Remember I was like, hey,
Delicious
let's go to Market
food.
City.
Yeah.
They took the first program ad out. We're going to print 3,000
Well,
of them.
second, who's our big sponsors,
Well, of
Brent?
course, the whole festival is presented by the Downtown Burbank Partnership Board and the Visit Burbank Hospitality Board.
Yep.
So they
Who are those guys? What do they do?
they're really important to us because they're our
People
presenting.
with a checkbook, right? The local
Sure.
people with
I
a checkbook.
believe
They're supporting comedy.
their sponsorship
Awesome.
does involve money. Yes,
Yes.
and we're putting their logo a bunch of different places. in exchange, and then we're going to bring a bunch of people to downtown Burbank, which is what they want.
Right, and we've arranged for free parking.
Well, hang on a second. Hang on a second. You guys are not doing due diligence to the hospitality board, because basically what it is, it's a board that consists of all the hotels in Burbank. So if you don't know, I mean, we have the lovely Holiday Inn
Beautiful.
downtown Burbank, which
Lovely.
is walking distance from us. And we're going to be doing one of our after parties at the Burbank Comedy Festival in
Correct.
the beautiful Skylight Lounge.
Right,
Which has a
overlooking-
lovely view.
Yeah,
I have a
all
question.
of
I have a
Burbank.
question
Yeah.
about the board.
And there's
How often
more.
do
There's
they do
Courtyard
it?
Marriott International. Yeah, they do it a lot. They have a lot of beds.
Yeah, I think they have a honeymoon suite specifically for doing it.
Pretty much all of the
Up in
hotels
the
are
Skyline
built.
Suite.
Dave,
for
we've
people
done
to
it
do
in
it in.
every hotel room in Burbank, I think, haven't we?
Oh, jeez.
No? All right. Well, Josh asked.
Sure, he did.
I want
Lord.
details. I want details. Is he a generous lover? That's what I want to know.
Generous lover.
Can we just focus on
Perfect. Generous lover. That's an interesting comment. Speaking, this is the virgin speaking, or the newly, what do you call that? Newly,
Weren't we talking about a comedy festival? How did,
yeah. All
we
right,
just
Josh.
Priorities.
Back to hotel rooms. It got him excited.
Well, okay, so the hospitality board, they...
Right. Visit
they,
Burbank.
They
Is the
include the
website.
hotels.
But
what else do
I
they do?
had another question about the hospital.
Yeah.
Do they all, when they meet, do they wear hoods? I'm like, is it very,
they're nice people that specialize in the hospitality industry and do work to promote Burbank as a place
Yeah,
that
they're
people should
amazing.
visit.
Yeah.
They need to be ridiculed by you and your sexual immaturity.
I'm sure they wear hoods when it's
Professional
raining.
I think
environment.
that second question was just immaturity, not sexual immaturity, just to be fair.
How often
I try to
do
cover
you
all
do
the
it, Josh?
What?
That's
How
my
often do you
point.
do it these
Yes.
days?
How often? 4 times. That's where I'm at. And
Four times in 33 years.
times?
yeah.
That's it?
I know.
Can we focus on comedy?
All right, back on track.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
so wait,
I'll be
wait,
here
wait.
all week.
No, you will not.
The amazing hospitality industry, or Visit Burbank group, they've only been around 3 years actually, and they basically got together to, promote hotel, people staying at hotels in downtown Burbank.
Yeah,
so
to do what I just said.
we're going to have a booking
No hoods.
form on our website, which is the Burbank Comedy Festival website is burbankcomedyfestival.com, and you can go there and book your hotel. And the Downtown Business Partnership Board, they do all kinds of great things. They're doing the Car Classic on July 27th.
Sure.
They did the skating rink, the ice skating rink.
Which was
if-
way fun.
Really?
in December, if you didn't get a chance to see that.
So both of you,
cool.
both of you guys skate.
I can ice skate. Yeah.
It's not about
We're
us,
from New York.
Josh. It's about the nice acts.
Don't you do this every week?
You just said it was a beautiful thing, so I
And
assumed
yes,
that
we
you
do
went
it
ice skating.
while
Can
ice
you ice
skating.
skate?
Is that what you want to know?
Why are you
Exciting.
indulging that?
They're
It's a simple.
co-hosts.
What is a simple question? Do you ice skate?
I ice skate, yes.
Okay. When was the last time you ice skated? Was it at the?
4
It's
times.
not relevant.
4
to the
times.
conversation.
He's ice skated 4 times.
Like how? Like how in depth can you do like
That's
triple
it?
Lutzes?
Okay, wait. Back to the festival, Brent. Tell us
Yeah,
what
no.
else. There's so many
So
exciting.
easily distracted.
Yeah. How did people? This is our first one.
First annual, which is
And there are
really
great
important.
comics coming. I mean, that's what this is about. It's
Yes.
about comedy.
Name some
you know?
names.
We've got some
Dorr's
great
gonna be
Jimmy
here.
Dorr, Jimmy
Darren-
Schubert.
Darren
Christina
Carter.
Pazitsky.
Yep, we got a lot of podcasts. Brad Williams and Adam Ray are doing their podcast about last night.
Matt Davis, did he get in?
Matt Davis did not submit.
He didn't submit.
Why don't? No, he did not submit actually,
Oh,
but
man,
he is a
that
great
guy's
comic.
a great comic.
He is funny.
But as far as our celebrity hosts go, I mean, we have.
Jeff Garlin's going to be our kickoff
That's
host.
right.
That's Dat Fan is hosting our Comics Without Borders. So one of the things that's interesting is that each performer that's been accepted gets to perform once throughout the week in the Yoo-Hoo room and once here in the main room. And each show kind of has its own personality. So we have that Comics Without Borders hosted by Dat Fan is going to be kind of an international themed
Foreigners.
show. Yeah,
You can
foreigners.
say the word.
Foreigners. You know, there's
And women.
Foreigners.
their skin might not all be white.
Foreigners and Canadians and shit like that show.
Exactly, and we got. What would you think of when you see diversity showcase?
I think minorities.
Minorities,
And women.
people that aren't white,
And women.
right? What about fruit cocktail? Any
Yeah,
guesses from the
yeah.
audience?
Farmers.
Cocktail. show.
Farmers. So we got a
Well-
bunch of farmer submissions this year.
Is that the gays?
That's the gays.
Can we
Fruit
just call
cocktail
it the
is.
gays?
No,
Fruit
no.
cocktail?
That's an amazing show, actually.
Barb
There's-
liked the name fruit cocktail.
Yes, yes.
Accidentally called it fruit cupcake at first when I put it on
Same
the
thing.
That
schedule.
is so gay.
I think it was a variation. That's where fruitcake comes from.
You know, one of the showcases I'm really, really excited about, though, is all of them are fantastic. I mean,
Are we doing a 99%
you
funnies?
can go, we are doing a 99% funnies, yeah. You can go to BurbankComedyFestival.com to see the whole schedule because it really is crazy. But what I was going to say was the Wednesday is a Ladies of Laughter showcase, and it's all women, and there are literally 19 of them in that showcase, and it is such a diverse group of women. I
Hosted
mean,
by.
young, old, the amazing Wendy Liebman,
Oh,
who is
wow.
one of the best female comics in the business. If
Great.
you do not know her, you better look her up right now. She headlines here. She'll be here again, and
You'll
she's
know her.
Josh will be going to that show for sure.
Yeah, Josh,
Getting
we have a
rejected by
front
all
row
of them.
seat for you. You can have 4 tickets to the Ladies of Laughter
Oh,
show.
we've got really great names in that.
Who would I take?
Deb DiGiovanni will be there.
Yes.
What,
But
couple
lots
other
of
names?
lots of newcomers too, like people you may not have heard or seen here before who did submit to the festival, and we had oh my gosh, hundreds, over 200
yeah.
submissions, and we wish we could have taken everyone, but unfortunately there just there wasn't enough spots to actually.
Right, we couldn't give
To put
everybody a spot.
everybody in.
And quite frankly, you could say this, I don't know that everybody was of the caliber that we want in the festival, our
Yeah,
first annual
Everybody's
festival.
ready for everything.
Right,
So if you sent in a VHS tape,
right.
we couldn't fucking play it.
Right.
So you didn't.
And you would be surprised at how many people have trouble getting a video on YouTube these days.
Actually,
not that easy.
no, listen, Brent came on he had never done a festival before, and
True.
Brent went through the whole submission process with us, which it took, a month and a half to review all the submissions, and we really took it seriously. And
And I was
We
just
had a
impressed
voting
that
process and-
because y'all watched every submission.
3 people watched every
And I always
submission.
feel like, because I've been
Yeah.
submitting for different things for many, many years, and some of them you'd never hear anything. And I
Right.
always wonder whether they just cashed my check and never watched the video.
Mm-hmm.
I at least liked it when they would send a letter and saying, thank you for the check. No.
Right? We sent that out
Because at
yesterday.
least they watched it.
And we only really have so far had one person say, "What kind of scam is this?"
Yeah. Well, listen, it's just quite a process to, as you know, watch all those submissions.
They're long days. The submission days, they're long days, and we
Yeah.
watch.
With surprisingly little laughter.
It's a scam that requires you to be funny. That's the kind of scam it is.
Yeah,
No.
and it's not a scam. I mean,
course not.
let's be honest, Barb. Okay.
I
Some
can't even believe
tips-
you guys are using these words because it's not valid at all. I mean, listen, any process. I am an agent in the college market, and I have to submit clients to these huge organizations, NACA and APCA, and we have to pay non-refundable submission
Big
fees.
submission.
Sure.
And those are non-profit organizations. So you still it requires people's time who are on a salary getting paid to watch these things. And not necessarily exorbitant salaries. It's not like we're Dow Chemical or anything like that.
Right, and we still have, as a festival, we
Dow
still have
Chemical.
to.
That's the comparison that you
Maybe
did.
Reinitz is on today.
Dow
I know
Chemical.
it's going to get political.
it's a-
Whatever.
We still have to
Dow
advertise.
Chemical. It's horrible.
Dow Chemical.
All right. Thanks for the support. So listen, I just want to say thank you to all the people who submitted because we really did watch. And listen, Dave is right. Sometimes
None of the submission fees went to Dow Chemical, just so that we're all clear about that.
We said that at the very beginning. That would be one of our
thanks
first
for cutting
things
me
we
off,
would
guys.
have.
But I wanted to say a sincere thank you to all the people who submitted because just because you didn't get selected this year, I hope you'll again, submit for next year. And we thought seriously about giving feedback on to everyone, but there really isn't time actually to do that. But I can tell you this. Be very careful when you submit. Make sure the quality of your tape is good. Make sure it's audible. It doesn't even have to be visually as good, but it definitely has to be audible. Like we have to be able to hear it right?
And a cell phone video it's distracting. It will drop you a few points. So
Right.
a quality camera it'll help you. It might be the thing that decides whether you're in or not.
Yeah.
Right, and also just when it's that bootleg video that your uncle took standing in the corner over on the side
Yeah, at our own club.
at our own club.
Yeah.
Good point, Dave.
If we see your friend filming from the Yoo-Hoo room, it might
It's
affect
just
you a few
harder.
points.
It's harder to focus on the content.
Right. But Barb, on that point, kind of, what are some tips that people who
Right.
got rejected maybe want to submit next year? What are some tips for them?
Great question.
New jokes.
I would say this. Yeah, it's so easy for Dave.
Just FYI, Dave was not on the selection
I was
committee.
not on the
Thank you,
selection
Brent,
committee.
for-
Just saying
That's a
that.
disclaimer right now.
I am
Dave
quietly.
has nothing to do with this.
I have not. I'm just quietly supportive in the
And
background.
being obnoxious. Yes. Okay.
But supportive.
That's her way of saying supportive.
The thing to do is this. It's just like what we do here on Punch It Up, which we're going to get to later today in our segment. You have, when you're submitting to something like that, you've got a minute, really. This is true for NACA, for college submissions. We realized it for the Comedy Festival. You've got a minute to basically get your who, what, why, where, when, and how out. You've got to say who you are, what you stand for, why you're there. And this is true with any show. If you get up in an audition or an open mic, the first minute is crucial. So your opening joke is so important. It has to say all those things, or at least have an attitude or a point of view, so we know where you're coming from as a performer, not just telling stock jokes that people have done before that have been ripped off.
Well, it's also, but even if it's but listen, even if you're an authentic comic and you've written great jokes, and it's about selecting. It's like you said, it's about selecting a joke that really expresses your point of view. And okay, this is where this guy is coming from.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting because there was a woman on Last Comic Standing who's a great comic, who came in and she did a good set, but her first joke was about dating, and then she closed with the thing about being married, and it was just this incongruent moment.
Because it could have been better if it was reversed.
Yeah, well, she was such a good comic, and it was just, it's just, she didn't have time in a short set to kind of say, I used to date, now I'm married, so it felt like she was coming from two different places, and she may just be doing a joke
here's the
to be
point,
funny.
everyone complains that they don't have enough time, but you do. You only have a minute.
too
You have
much
the
time.
time that you have.
Yes, you have a minute to 3 minutes. If you're on a late night talk show set, you're doing 3 to 5 minutes max, 4.5 tops. Sometimes that's with an interview. So in a submission tape, again, you really, you need to tape
Front load
everything
the
you
fun.
do, tape everything everywhere you go, because you never know when you're going to have a good set. And you can edit too, but you should pull together a really strong 1 to 3 minutes to have ready all the time, whether it be a submission for a comedy festival or a submission to a booker at a club. Just have that nice tight minute to 3 minutes.
And say
ready to
something.
go.
Say something.
Yeah.
Don't just do, I'm so poor, da 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 da.
Right. Who are
So,
you? What are you? What do you
You know,
stand for?
I'm so
Right.
white, da 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 da. I'm such
What
a Jew,
joke do you
da-
open with?
What?
What joke do you
I'm a
open with?
virgin.
What do I open with? I think I'm going to start opening with a Thundercats material.
See, it's great. Now we go Thundercat showcase.
I
Let's
think
put
if
him in
you
that.
actually got up there and said, folks, I think I'm going to open with my Thundercat material, that would actually work, as opposed to actually doing your
Okay,
Thundercat
listen,
material.
Mr.
which would be a
Listen,
huge
Mr.
flaw.
Fruits.
Right.
5 minutes on
Fruit
fruits. If you can
cocktail.
talk about fruit for 5 minutes, I can talk about Thundercats for 5
Our
minutes.
listeners do not even
Does
know
everybody
what you
here
guys
know
are
what
talking
fruit
about.
is? Does everybody? And does everyone here know what Thundercats are? No.
It's a show about cat people.
Right, that you have to explain.
Cat
Yes,
people?
cat people. Half human, half cat
That get
aliens.
thundered on or what?
Thunder is never involved. It's actually bizarre. I don't know how the thunder got into the name.
Yeah, but this is his opening.
Should be something about focusing on that fifth time having sex. Gotta get that fifth time. Maybe not.
Not when I'm talking about Thundercats. Probably.
Okay. So once again, you guys digressed us, but
Always back to sex.
yes, good. But hopefully, please.
Digressed?
Yes, we were talking about the Burbank Comedy Festival.
Let's focus on that. It's such a wonderful event coming up in August.
I feel like I'm the obstacle to this podcast today.
Yes. All right. So listen, everyone, please, thank you for, again, I just want to say thanks for submitting. And what can listeners look forward to with the festival coming out? We'll be talking about it over the next couple of months, of course.
Well, I mean, even if
Highlighting
you
some
weren't
performers.
accepted to the festival, we gave a complimentary seat in a class or panel. So
That's a good deal.
right, yeah.
For your submission fee. Nobody else does
Nobody
that.
does that.
No way. In fact, most festivals don't have this daytime component where we're actually
what are
getting
we
people involved with classes, which are going to be, you pick an individual class, maybe it's focusing on being a better MC, maybe it's marketing yourself, maybe it's writing for late night, but those classes will be focused, they'll be 3 hours, and maybe 15 to 20 people, you learn a lot. And then our panels are going to be 5 or 6 industry people up here on the main stage, just talking about what they do on the day-to-day and what maybe insight they could provide for a comedian. So if it's the agents and managers panel, they'll be talking about why a comedian might need an agent or manager, or what they can do that a comedian can't. Club owners and bookers, there's another one that, Barbara, you could probably tell us.
Well, the club owners and bookers panel is on Tuesday, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm on it, but that's not why it's amazing. But well, maybe it is. Okay, but we also have Richard Barrett from the Comedy and Magic Club.
Beautiful club.
Tony Camacho, who books and works with Brad Garrett's MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Which is, if you're in Vegas, it is just pristine. It's gorgeous.
Yes, Randy Lubas, Ventura Comedy Club. But here's what's cool about it. That panel is actually moderated by Adam Genovesian, who is a live appearance agent at ICM.
Right.
And so what's cool about that is we decided to have someone like that actually moderate that panel so that comics can learn how an agent interacts with club owners and bookers, and how you as a comedian can interact with the club owner and booker and the agent, because there's a lot of people involved sometimes in all of those bookings at a club.
And I think there's a lot of people that are maybe hearing some of this all for the first time. They will be in August at least. Maybe they're just open micers and now they're going to get to...
Yeah, but there's also people that have been participating and have an idea of it that are going to get some clarification as to how it actually works, because there's a ton of misinformation.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that it probably changes a lot as social media gets more prevalent. Maybe there's some old-time comedians who want to know about how the business has evolved.
Yeah,
Well-
so somebody told me the other day, Dave, MySpace is not going to help you. I needed to hear that.
Well, so here's,
I needed to know.
there's a comedy development panel too, and this one is particularly of interest to me because I know when I started out in comedy, I had to find the people that could help me get to what I wanted to do goal-wise. I wanted to produce, I wanted to be, cast in something, I wanted to get my TV show pitched to a network. And Dave and I both, for many, many years, really just, you meet one person and he introduces you to someone else, or she, and you sort of have to really struggle to find your way. So what I did with this comedy development panel is put together those people that, it's like a dream team. It's Aaron Schur, the executive producer of Everybody Loves Raymond and The Office.
The Office?
Yeah, Aaron Schur. And Nate Adams, who is with Picture Label Entertainment. He is the man that's responsible for helping Adam Carolla's movie Road Hard generate $1.7 million in crowdfunding. Road Hard, yeah, which we filmed here at Flappers.
I thought we were doing a thing where we repeat something. He started the pattern of repeating, and I was doing. No, we're not. All right.
Randy Siegel.
Randy
She
Siegel.
used to represent
Jimmy Fallon's
Fallon.
Jimmy
manager,
Fallon.
got him on SNL, and now teaches contracts and agreements, and also
She's always doing stuff.
Gosh,
You
she was-
never know what she's up to.
she was an
There's always
executive
something going on.
development agent for National Lampoon
She
for a
managed
while.
Tony Clifton.
Yeah, she still manages.
She's
Tony.
crazy.
Yeah, but so listen, imagine all those people together on one panel. These are the makers.
We don't have to
and shakers.
imagine it. We can live it.
Yes,
at
we
the
can.
Burbank Comedy Festival in
They're the
August here at
makers
Flappers
and
Comedy Club.
shakers. Whatever. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, you're just gonna have to come and see.
You will.
But you can buy tickets, by the way. Either you can purchase a class or a panel. If you just want to go to one thing, you can just buy a ticket for that thing or one of the shows at night. There will be tons of industry coming to the shows as well. But there's also a pass. If you want to purchase a pass for the whole week, highly recommend it. We literally tried to, calculate it out so that a comedian could come and go to all the classes, all the panels, all the shows, and hobnob and network and meet industry people too.
Oh, there
Dave
will be
is just
hobnobbing.
really wants to talk.
Well, I thought we were going to talk. I want to talk about the new
Now
menu.
it's
I
gonna,
thought we were
it's
going to
gonna,
talk about
we're
the new
getting to
menu.
you, but
Is
let's
that?
just.
She told me we were just talking about festival, but
We put it.
Okay, so
Fine,
Brent,
We put
Brent,
an egg on
what- is there
macaroni and
anything else
cheese.
we should say
We
about the
discussed.
festival? Maybe you come on every couple weeks and give
that'd
us
be great.
an
I'll give you
update
some
on
updates.
what's going on.
Yeah, I gotta go
Can I
do
speak-
some more.
Can we get
follow-up.
the kind of
Can I
like
ask
that
a
ticker
personal
tape
question?
sound
Can
and
I-
the
can I ask a-
update from Brent?
Can I ask a personal question? It's not how many times you had sex. I'm beyond that.
Okay.
I've noticed.
You're not beyond that. But
Well, I'm never beyond that. It's a couple of things.
Brent's at 8.
I'm very jealous of your voice. I gotta say, you have
It is
like
nice.
it's a nice deep voice.
It is.
It's
Thank you.
It's good.
It's a
you are
now-
eating the mic though.
it's a
Yes, I was gonna say
announcer.
your lips are touching the mic, and that's
Oh.
as the hypochondriac, I'm a little. Just I'm warning you.
That's
There
a good
might be
thing,
germs. You're not the
Josh.
last
Fair
person
enough.
who was
That's a
on that
good
mic.
thing.
You're right.
All right.
I don't know who the last one was before me. Was that your second question? Was just going to tell me that I was touching the mic with my lips?
Yes, that was. It was just an observation.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
not
won't
a
do it
question.
again.
The question would be why are your lips touching?
That is true.
It's going to get into a long story. It involves my father.
All right, Brent, just remind people where they can get the latest updated information. Right?
BurbankComedyFestival.com. We're getting more hits every day, so
And we're
Check it out.
blogging and putting all kinds of new
Hit us
info
up.
up there, so check it out.
thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Brent Lowrey. Not of the Lowrey season sauce.
I really think if you watched an episode of Thundercats, I
Okay,
think,
wait a minute. Let me introduce Dave Reinitz again, our headliner, who wants to get a word in edgewise here, right?
Well, I was just saying, we just did a new menu rollout here at Flappers. And we
Oh,
didn't change
I thought
a ton
you were
of
a
things,
comedian.
but we changed a number of things. We changed, we have our over easy mac and cheesy, which is something that we've had our eye on for the menu for a long time. And so it's our homemade mac and cheese, which is really delicious, with breakfast on top. So you get an egg and you
It
toast
actually is
bacon
really
and
delicious. It
potatoes.
sounds weird, but it's like
breakfast on mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I didn't think I would like
It's
it.
so
but
fun. And the new chicken artichoke pizza is out, which is
Ooh.
just selling like crazy. And that's got a really nice cream sauce on it. It's delicious. And we've got the cantaloupe lime
could we
drop.
please call it the chartichoke?
The chartichoke?
Chicken artichoke?
Oh,
I don't know why. I don't know what possessed
That's
me
a
to say that.
horrible idea. That is, we're talking about food.
So Dave, a
Beverage,
lot of people
which is the
don't
fun
know
part.
this, but Dave is an excellent cook and really has inspired the menu. And we have a great chef as well.
What's your
Chef
favorite
Alex
Dave
really is
Reinitz? What's your
amazing.
favorite Dave Reinitz dish? that he makes? All things he
Well,
makes. What's your favorite?
well, we don't have it here, but it's close. Is the garlic and garlic and sun-dried tomato pizza that we do here
It's very similar.
is very similar to Dave's makes this at home. It's a garlic bread with it's like you take a pound of butter and you mush it all up and you put in
It's
sun-dried
butter,
tomatoes,
cheese, sun-dried tomatoes,
cheese,
fresh basil, green
Oh.
onions.
and you just mix it all up like this
Parmesan.
mush ball, and then
And
you
you put it on
spread
bread
it
and
on
you toast
bread.
it. Yeah.
It's so good, and that's what inspired the
The garlic chicken
the
pizza.
garlic sun-dried tomato pizza here,
Yeah,
which
which is delicious.
delicious.
Yeah. But I was just bragging about the cantaloupe lime drop martini.
Dave
which
made
is-
up a new drink.
Which is a great drink.
Yep.
It's got the cantaloupe, Grey Goose, vodka. and
Fruit. It involves fruit.
Lime juice. Doesn't
Or is that
fruit.
melon? Is melon fruit?
Melon is fruit.
I'm
But
not
it's
sure.
actually
I
vodka,
could be
so
doing-
it's just fruit flavored vodka, really. But it's
Oh.
a delicious drink, so you should check it out.
That's the kind of fruit I like, Dave.
Yeah.
If it says fruit and vodka, if it's the same thing, that's one thing. That's the kind of fruit I like. What kind of fruit do I like? Citrus? No. I like alcohol fruit. That's
It's
what I like.
alcohol
All right.
fruit. There you go.
All right, so Dave, what's going on with you? You're working on some new material and stuff, right?
I'm always working on stuff. Yep. Talking about guns, which freaks people out.
Right.
But that's all right.
What's going on with the guns?
I don't know. I'm too preachy about it, so then people get upset. So I got to make it
Oh.
funnier and less preachy. This is often a goal. But they have these laws now about there's a law in Georgia called the Open Carry Protection Act, which means that cities can't limit your rights to carry your gun wherever you want. And I just think that's really sporting events. Who wants to referee the Raider game with everybody in the stands having guns? So it needs work.
No, it's interesting because if you live in Burbank, you might notice that there are a lot of gun stores here.
There are just
What is
within
that about?
a mile of the club, just right down Magnolia, there are 3
It's
gun stores.
Guns Direct.
Yeah, which seems like
Guns.
I'm
Yes.
looking for a more subtle gun shop. There's guns and
What
ammo.
do we need guns in Burbank for?
So I take it that you guys do not own a gun, I would assume.
It's none of your
No.
business, Josh.
What kind of gun?
We rent. We rent our firearms. Does a howitzer count as a gun, or is that more of a cannon?
Well, it's funny,
Guns are weird. I mean, it's just, they're unnecessary. What do you need a gun in Burbank for? That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
You never know when Glendale's going to invade.
Right.
They're breathing down our necks.
Back.
I did one of the Fred Pryor training seminars. It was on helping new supervisors. And another guy who was in it was a guy who is a supervisor at a gun store, at like a hunting store. And I'm like, how can you have trouble supervising if you work
Because
with
your
guns?
employees are armed.
You're just like, do what I say.
I need you to mop the bathroom. That ain't going to happen.
Oh, yeah? No, you know what the good scruples question here, though, is this, that we were talking over Scrabble one night, Dave, is like,
Were you naked while you were playing Scrabble?
No, there was an older,
Josh, would you please? Would you just...
older gentleman
Jesus,
involved.
you're freaking 9 years old.
Was he naked?
Why don't you get some socks and then ask us about our sex life? Jesus Christ, look at that. Look, I can see your ankles. One of them I can, the other one totally
Wait a minute, your
mismatched
socks
socks.
are mismatched?
But you're
Yes.
exposed. Your feet are
on purpose?
exposed.
This is a hipster thing, I think.
No,
Is that a
it's
hipster thing?
purely incompetent. 4 times I've had sex in my life.
Is this what Thundercats do?
All 4 times with the sock.
Oh, way more than that with the sock.
I think the sock got more use. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying?
Scruples and
You were
Scrabble.
talking about
Oh,
You were playing Scrabble naked
I
and you
was
were talking
saying, well,
about
here,
Scrabble.
this is a very interesting question to consider about guns. It's just like, if you're in a situation and a gun happens to be there, would you pick up the gun? Like if you felt threatened.
Well, it depends on the
right?
situation. I mean, if I was...
I'm saying though, whatever situation it is, if you're in a situation, like there's a circle and there's a threat coming, and if there was a gun there, would you pick up the gun and use it? That's the
Well,
question.
those are 2 different things.
No,
Would you pick up the gun and would you use the gun?
I'm just saying, would you pick if the gun? Now,
I
if
have
you're in
picked
the,
up a gun.
If you're in the same situation and the gun's not there, what do? What's the difference? My point is, what?
Either I would
There's
cry either way.
You need
Me.
some circumstances. You're just giving a situation. I mean, this is a situation.
Okay, you're
In other words,
out.
when
You're out at night, and you're
I'm out at
you're
night.
out dancing with your friends,
We're
and you come out of a
dancing.
nightclub, right?
What neighborhood?
Jeez.
You give me a BS scenario.
Hollywood. Okay?
Hollywood.
And a guy starts.
Shitty neighborhood.
Dave and I then.
We're
okay,
dancing.
let's do this. No, well that wouldn't happen. But anyway. Okay.
What 80s music are you dancing to?
Yeah, what's the tune?
Ah, Cyndi Lauper. Okay.
I would definitely pull out a gun. The DJ's dying.
And a guy picks up on me.
Guy
let's
picks
say,
up on you.
Outside. A guy's like, hey, making a pass at me. And
Am I there?
There's
Where am
there's a
I?
gun in the trunk.
Am I still dancing?
There was a gun in the trunk, and you.
What kind of an idiot puts a gun in a trunk? Hey, I might need this. Let me lock it away where I can't fucking get it.
Oh God. Okay, but my point is, would you?
I would probably not shoot anybody, and I probably wouldn't pick up a gun.
Right, but I have been in this situation actually. My ex-husband had a
You
gun.
could have just got to the story. You could have just said we were dancing to 80s music. Cyndi Lauper was playing.
Hey, she's
My
trying.
husband had
She's
a gun
trying
in
to
the
build
trunk.
attention. Okay,
All right,
so
all
there's a
right.
context.
So I'm just trying to give you an example of like if the gun's there, people will use it.
Well, what
Yeah,
happened
but
to
your husband put the trunk in the gun. 'cause
Now
he
you want to
wanted
know the story.
Yeah, I-
okay,
I
well,
don't wanna know the
You
story.
guys want-
No, I wanted to. Hey, I was on your
Okay,
side.
Okay. So we're out dancing, and my ex-husband had a concealed weapons permit, and we're getting ready to go out for the night, and he's like, well, I'm going to put this gun in my trunk. And I'm like, well, what do you need a gun in the trunk for? Well, I don't know. Someone might mess with us.
And then he started to fight.
And then I was like, well, how do you know someone's going to mess with us?
'Cause
Like
I'm
you're
gonna start a
forecasting it because
I'm
you're putting
gonna
the
start
gun
a
in the
fight.
trunk, right? So we go out, we go dancing, and we come out after the dance, and we're getting ready to
Everyone
leave.
was all pissed off because it was Cyndi Lauper all night long.
And some guys come out after us, and they're like, you know, flirting with me because I was hot back then. And so
That's
they
where
got.
you, now, Dave. Come on, that's where
Now
you
you're
say
supposed to
you're
protect
still,
me, right? Yeah.
still hot. That's
So-
you.
I don't have to say
All right. Oh.
There we go. Oh.
So the guys were. My ex-husband was upset that the guy was flirting with me, and he reached in the trunk
Is the
and
same
pulled out the
ex-husband
gun.
that took you fishing on your honeymoon?
Yes, it is. Thanks for pointing that out. I did catch the bigger fish. Let's
And
point that
that
out.
was
Tell
it
me-
for the marriage.
Please tell me you were wearing the dress.
That's
while
not
you
a good
were
thing. Don't catch a bigger fish. I was wearing a wedding dress, yes.
fishing. While fishing.
Anyway, all right. So the gun, the purpose of the gun story is, I'm saying that he did pull it out and basically pointed at the guys, and the guys ran away.
I generally think
So-
that's a good response.
Yeah, but I mean, did he need the gun to do that, or could he just say, "Hey, stop it, you guys," you know?
Or would it have even happened with that if the gun wasn't there?
That's
in
my
some
point.
way.
That's
if
what I'm
he's
saying.
Provoked them
Right.
because he had the gun.
Exactly.
So the moral of the story is run from a gun.
No, the moral of the story is having
But Dave's-
is just the gun being in proximity increasing the violence.
That was the
Whereas
super
you remove the gun
question.
from the
Well, I
situation
think it
totally.
boils down to Joshua. I believe Barbara. I think it boils down
Thanks, Dave.
to
I
Tell
never
us.
gave you permission to use
Tell
my
us,
phone.
Dave.
the saying that guns don't kill people.
People kill people.
Let me just start that over again without being interrupted. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. It's just a lot easier with a gun. Because it takes forever to kill a guy with a stapler. It's a long process. So I think the moral of the story is we need bigger magazines for staplers. Okay, screw you people. I told you I was working on it. I just did.
I set you up. I'm sorry I stepped on
You
the
kind of did.
joke.
You kind of did.
I know.
Yeah, but I appreciate the attempt. That was very nice.
We got
You
to
did.
do punch it up. Speaking of
Yes.
Let's get on with it.
Yes, yes. So we invited Dave here because he is a great joke coach as well as being a great comic. And we have a couple comics who want to come on and do our Punch It Up segment where
Punch it up.
we asked some comics to come on and do 3 minutes, and we're going to give them some feedback, hopefully some tags, and some gun tags, of course. Yeah.
Punch it up.
And,
Let's do it.
Who do we have today?
all right. So
Josh?
first up, Marty Wurst, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right, and they're going to hear an applause sound or a rant rant when the time is up. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Apologize if I smell bad. I just came back from doing stand-up at a slaughterhouse. And it's not easy doing crowd work when half your cow audience is dead. But I thought I heard someone laughing, and then it turned out to be a pig being butchered. But I only threw up 3 times, so that's a pretty good set, right? All right. Lost my virginity at a canned foods drive. I know what you're thinking, Marty, that's crazy, but actually one of my friends put me up to it. He's like, Marty, if you want to get some pussy, you gotta go to a canned foods drive. I said, that's crazy, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm in, what do I have to do? He says, man, just bring some can of peas and you're in that gold, baby. So I went down there and I saw a woman, she was sitting outside and she was stacking cans of creamed corn in the back of a wagon. And I wasn't really a smooth guy. The only thing I could come up with was, excuse me, miss, it's a lot of creamed corn you got there. And she said, get your own creamed corn, motherfucker, these are mine! And that's when I realized she wasn't a volunteer, but just some crazy person. And I didn't know what to do, so I was kind of shaken up by it, so I just quickly gave her my can of peas. She quickly changed her tune. She said, you want to get out of here? I said, I'll pull the wagon. So long story short, we made love in the bargain bin of an abandoned Blockbuster video. I know what you're thinking, Marty, hold it. I thought you said you lost your virginity at a canned foods drive. What a ripoff. Well, I'm kind of guilty about, when I tell stories, I like to embellish a little bit, and sometimes I lie a little bit to spice things up. So I'm sorry about that. To do a quick impression for you. This is my impression of famous director Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese. It is a me, Martin Scorsese. Grazie, grazie. My favorite actor is Ryan Phillippe. Thank you, Martin Scorsese, everybody. I worked on that impression. I studied that guy for months, and I thought I'd get more of a reaction. Thank you, I'm Marty Wurst.
All right, Marty. Hey, grab that microphone. Come on over and talk to us. Welcome, welcome. Where are you going, Dave?
Get a paper.
Oh, Dave has to get some paper. Marty, how long have you been doing comedy?
I'm just finishing a year.
A year. All right. That's quite the feat, huh?
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah.
old are you?
34.
Where are you from?
I was born in New Jersey, but I grew up in Hawaii.
What do you do?
I work at the Geffen Playhouse. I'm not in trouble, am I?
No.
Gosh, Dave.
I'm just
Dave, do
trying
you
to
have
get
a
a
few
vibe.
things to say? Yeah.
I love your shirt.
Thanks.
Marty Wurst is a funny name, too. Like, it sounds like liverwurst or something. Marty Wurst.
What brought
Yeah.
Wurst on?
Anyway. Sorry, I just had to say something.
Oh, no,
It's
everyone
a
does.
notable name.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Not everybody's
Marty
named Marty.
Wurst. I'm Marty Wurst. How you doing?
You're not. You're Barbara Holliday. He's Marty Wurst.
All right, go, Dave.
Can we make it about him for a moment?
Yes, we are making it about him.
I'm just asking you questions because I really didn't learn much about you.
Right.
And so I would comment two things. Is you obviously you have a decent joke structure, so you see a joke, which is for your first year just exactly where you want to be.
Right.
So you're on good track in terms of that. The thing I would challenge you on is what you're choosing to talk about.
Right.
And your opening is, we talked a little bit about the opening and trying to really say something about who you are.
Right.
And I think that was not a goal that was achieved in your opening. The other thing that I would say is that it's very difficult, or maybe difficult's the wrong word, for me, when a comic talks about doing comedy and being a comic,
Right.
one thing it does is it reminds the audience that you're there telling jokes, as opposed to living in the reality/illusion that we're just up there talking to people. And so, and here's the other thing is this, and this is every first-year comic, and everybody that decides anything new for the first year generally spends their time doing an impression of what they think that entity does. So, you're sort of doing an impression of a stand-up comic instead of just being yourself.
Right.
Right? And so if you were in my class, I would take you off the joke juice. So comics that write good jokes get this kind of thing,
Yeah.
where it's all about just hitting those good jokes, and it's a beautiful skill to have, but I would battle you back a little bit. And I would say just take
Right.
a month or two, or 3 or 5, and just don't even worry about being funny. Give yourself permission not to be funny, and just work on being authentic in front of people.
Right.
And you'll find that because you have an understanding of joke structure, it's kind of innate with you, is what I guess, is that you will be writing material about things that mean more to you, and that you have more of a connection.
But can we give him a specific example?
Yes.
Like the slaughterhouse stuff. What does that mean?
Have you actually done comedy in a slaughterhouse?
No, of course not.
Oh,
Okay. So that lacks any real authenticity. So as I'm thinking,
And we
okay,
can smell that.
Right.
The audience can tell.
right, and if you had opened up with, I lost my virginity at a food drive,
Yeah.
that
that's
line in and
funnier.
of itself would get a huge laugh.
Right.
Okay, and just the fact that you're 34 years old and you're still relishing the moment when you lost your virginity, right, is really interesting.
It
As
says
to-
something.
There's something about that moment, and I've been trying to recapture that romance ever since. There just aren't enough food drives,
Or cans.
right, and more, and even more details. I mean, I imagine that the first time you did those jokes, so to speak, is you probably told the story of how you actually lost your virginity at a can. Is that a true story?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. I bought it a little bit more.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. Do you attend can drives, or do you like can
I
drives?
Who
think-
the hell are you, Marty? Tell us.
Well, it's interesting because I've been listening to the podcast for a while, and I knew it was going to come up with like being personal and stuff, and I'm still kind of finding my place and just discovering like how to be comfortable on stage, and I'll gradually open up, I'm sure. But right now I'm so fascinated with just absurd kind of humor, and I do a lot of like comedian type jokes where I like to twist the conventions a little bit, but I realize it doesn't tell a lot about myself, but at the same time I feel like part of it almost defines myself, the kind of humor I'm doing, but I realize I'm not really letting the audience in too.
Right, we're not clear on what you're doing. It's one thing once you've established who you are, okay, now we know what he's thinking about, to kind of delve into, okay, this is what we're doing right here. It's just not easy, and it's not, it's just blazing a difficult trail, and it falls flat, I think, when you don't establish a little bit of who you are. And when
Right.
I'm saying be personal, I'm not saying be biographical. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, George
Right.
Carlin very rarely talked about himself, but his point of view, it was, and his connection to what he was talking about was extremely
Well, even specifically like with the Martin Scorsese, fine. You can
Right.
do a Martin Scorsese impression, but like, why are you doing a Martin Scorsese impression?
Well, I
right?
like that. Basically, because it's deliberately terrible and the farthest thing from a real Martin Scorsese impression. So I think
I
you don't
totally
like him?
disagree.
No.
I would
I thought it
challenge
was
you
good.
on that.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't
I
good.
would challenge you on that. Because
I
here's
nailed
the
it.
thing. Well, here's the fun thing about doing an impression that nobody knows what they sound like, is that you can't be held accountable.
Right.
Right.
So there's a level of safety and playfulness in doing that I really like. Like I thought that was you know,
I thought it was Martin
It was
Scorsese.
weird, but in that regard, it's you being personal because this is a weird thing. Then this appeals to me to do impersonations that are bad that nobody even knows are bad because nobody knows what the fuck Martin Scorsese sounds like,
Right.
or a very limited number of
So I guess that backfired then. Okay.
No, it didn't backfire at all. That's what I'm saying. It
We're
was
saying
fun
that
that you
that
were
was
doing
fun.
it. Yeah, that was what I liked about it.
But my point of what I was saying is just a little bit, it tells us something about the kind of impressions you're doing.
Right.
That is a tell in itself also.
Where did you lose your virginity?
Huh. I mean, nothing special in the bedroom.
Great. So, but there's something just really funny if you just get up there and say, I wish I had just lost my virginity at a can drive. Wouldn't that be a great story? I
Right.
just got banged in that. Here's the way I think it would have gone. You know, at least then there's some connections to why you're doing it.
I like to fib with conviction.
Great.
I
Oh,
think
there
it's
you
fun.
go.
Great.
So you just said it. See, that
I
is your
love to
point of
lie.
view.
Yeah.
That is your point of view. That's what we're, if you set that up early on, now you have a place to take your jokes, right?
Right.
Because then we understand.
Okay. Well, I didn't think
Yeah.
anyone would believe that I actually did a gig at a slaughterhouse, so I thought I'd be let off the hook.
Yes, that wasn't believable.
Well, there's more to the slaughterhouse part, though. I was going to say, it's a dark, dark place.
Is there a Vonnegut reference hidden in there?
No. Or unintentional.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, if you're taking us to that dark place, we're looking for a spin on it, right? That's all. Remember that the joke structure, you want to lead the audience in one direction and give us that surprise. And so there just wasn't really a surprise there. You know that you're lying to us, but we don't know that you're lying to us.
Right.
Does that make sense? So there's no
Yeah.
joke there.
Right, and I've been around comedy long enough to know that there has been a comedy show at the Slaughterhouse.
There has.
It has been done.
Yeah.
Yes, I guarantee it.
That's horrible.
I wasn't
Thrift
there.
stores,
Thrift stores, laundromats, bars,
everywhere you can
slaughterhouses,
imagine.
architectural design studios, freaking lobbies, art galleries.
Corporate gigs.
Every shitty venue that should not have comedy has had comedy at some point or another.
Anyway, you have anything else, or?
Yeah, just you're crazy likable. I just want to know more about you. And just really, like I said, just don't worry about being funny for a little while. Set yourself free from that burden and just focus on just talking authentically with people. And I think you'll be really surprised at the results. And here's sometimes a question I ask myself is, why am I talking about this?
Right.
What is my connection to it? What's my complaint about it? What is my issue? Why am I drawn to this? And I think sometimes when I challenge myself and ask that question, I find better comedy.
Right. And I actually just had one other little tag was
Okay.
about don't admit the lie was what I wrote. But now that you're talking about how you what, Dave? You want to say something about that?
Well, no, I just had this funny thing for him just saying, I'm lying, and then to go in another story, and we'll believe you anyway. And then says, I'm lying again, I just can't help it. And then go into another story, it will still believe, people, even if you tell them that you're lying to them, they will still believe you because they just can't help themselves.
If that's the point. See, I didn't know that was the point in his set when he
Right.
did it. But now, if that's your
You
point
have a
of
lot of fun
view,
with that.
yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense to you?
Do you mean a just kidding tag or?
No. I love to fib.
Yeah.
What you said earlier, you said I like to fib and not have people know, or what?
Because it's not that,
Yeah. I'd like to fib with conviction.
Yes.
right, with conviction, I love that.
So you can't tell, and if you keep that as your subtext throughout your act, I think you're going to find.
And just kidding
Some
is
magic
throwing,
there.
it's a throwaway.
Right.
Just kidding is of course you're kidding, you're fucking comic.
You're-
It's
yeah.
just, I hate that little throwaway. And it degrades what you're doing. What
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing is creating a sweet lie. And you're enjoying creating a sweet lie. And we can totally go with you. I mean, I do a thing about how much I love putting bullshit in the world and hoping it comes back to me. And how I convinced my sister that sharks have no assholes and waited 3 years until she said it in public. Right? So same kind of, similar sensibility.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Josh, do you have anything you want to add?
I think we're good. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
Marty, was that helpful?
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
Thanks for being a listener and doing the open mics and stuff here. We hope we'll see more of you, yeah?
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right,
All
thank you,
right,
Marty.
give it up for
podcast.
Marty Wurst.
All right.
You got one more?
Yes, we do. And how do you say her, Jordan? How do you say her last name?
Chyzowski.
Chyzowski.
Oh,
Keep it going for Jordan Chyzowski, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see that.
Jordan Chyzowski. Chyzowski. That's what it sounds like.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
So, I'm recently out of the closet, the gay closet, and trying to hit on guys, but it's hard because I don't have the best gaydar. Like, I didn't pick myself up till about 19. So, I was in the grocery store and I saw this guy, and I just, from the vibe and the way he looked, and I was at the kale and he was at the lettuce. And then when I moved to the carrots, he came over to the potatoes, and I thought, I'm sure he's gay. And then he kind of looked at me and I said, hey man. He's like, hey, and I was like, would you like to hang out sometime? He's like, yeah, sure. Here's my phone, put your number in. So I was putting my name and number in, and I said, hey, just so you know, by the way, I'm gay. He's like, yeah, me too. I was like, oh yeah, of course you fucking know I'm gay and you're gay. Why else would we be exchanging numbers right now? You're looking for a friend to talk produce with, or? I want to talk about my father a little bit. I was in business school because I wanted to be like my father. And when I dropped out to do stand-up comedy, he was pretty upset. But I was like, Dad, you don't understand. Between me doing shows and you giving me money, I can make ends meet. I swear to God, I can do it. My dad's like a very successful businessman, and I'm like an okay comedian. So the most money I've ever made in 1 year is being a tax shelter, by far. It's not even close. I always feel like my dad knew stuff, but he wasn't a good teacher. Like, he could never explain what he knew to me. Like, if my dad was to ever write a dictionary, I would look at the words and be like, wrench. You know, a wrench. Water hose. You don't know what a water hose is? And I wanted to mention my mom too. I was walking past this house, and the windows were open, and I saw this woman, and I haven't seen my mom in a year, and she looked just like my mom. So I watched her for like a minute, and I thought, what if I stalked her because she looked like my mom? Wouldn't that be ridiculous? A ridiculous reason to stalk someone? And I was like, no, that's a perfectly reasonable reason to stalk someone. You would never get judged at the stalker support group for following around a woman because she looked like your mom. And I don't even know how that stalking would go down. I would FaceTime her once a week. I would, oh shit, I can't remember. I would FaceTime her once a week, and I would, oh, I can't remember. The third one is I would spend a month writing a letter to set some boundaries. But I can't remember what the second one was. I'm sorry, guys. This is being taped. I fucked it up.
No, that's fine. That's a great moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Look at that. You want to come over and talk to us?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Can I just talk about that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what oftentimes when a comic forgets a joke is the comic has assumed an agenda of getting their joke correct.
Yeah.
And because you're a good joke writer, you're one of those freaking joke writers, and you write the joke, and you're like, I love my little baby joke. I want my baby joke to be beautiful and presented properly and in a fluffy pile of clouds, whatever. And so our focus becomes about getting the joke right, and not about communicating what we have to say to the audience. And I can't tell you how many times I've fucked up jokes, or quote unquote fucked up jokes, and made them better.
Yeah.
And so the thing I would advise you to do is that we as comics, we write our set list, right? So before this, at some point, you got done, I'm gonna do this joke, I'm gonna do that joke, the produce thing, the dad thing, the dictionary thing, which is fucking. First thing is you're crazy funny. You're in great shape as a comic.
Yeah, thanks.
So we make our set list, and then we get up on stage and we want to try to execute that set list. And so what I try to advise people to do is you make your set list and throw it away, right? And you get up on stage and you live with the people and in the environment you're in. Because comedy lives in the moment. Okay, and when you're sitting over there in the back of the room writing a set list or in a green room or at home 2 hours before a show, you've only got limited information. The only information you really have is that you're going to be on stage, there's going to be a microphone, and you've got an agenda of jokes that you want to tell. But when you're on stage, you're fully informed in terms of what's happening in this moment. And if you're true to the topic that you're talking about, the joke will be there for you. Okay, so you see comics that happens professionals. You know, comics. I've seen comics that do an hour, and they'll get up there, and something will happen in the room, and they'll deal with it because they have to, not because they want to. And then they will get to the point where they'll say, where was I? Because what they're doing is they're reciting a list as opposed to living in a conversation with an audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm listening, by the way. I'm
Okay,
just
cool.
turn off my recorder.
So that's why that was such an interesting moment for me. Is because you were doing such a nice job. Did you do a nice job?
Yeah.
Weren't you totally with him? I mean, you were
Thank you,
personal.
guys.
You were honest about where you were coming from. You opened up with the closet joke. I mean, you had a great
have a
show
point of
structure.
view.
Yeah.
You're coming in to land the thing, and the only thing that happened is you forgot the words of the middle piece, which is the shitty one.
Yeah, that makes sense completely. I had it planned out when you said it. I had it planned out like, just get through it and then see what they do,
Right.
as opposed to know what the fuck you're even saying. Like it was like written out.
Which is, listen, listen, and as you move towards television, that becomes an incredibly important skill, to do the set that the TV people want you to do in the order they want you to do it. But as you're developing and when you're in a club, it's a different thing. It's about living in the moment. It's about finding, exploring the material. What are the different
And
sides? What are
playing
you
with
talking
it.
about?
Playing
Yeah.
with it.
Yes, playing with it.
Like messing up like that, we do not know your agenda at all. We don't know the joke. We don't know the outcome. So the only time we know is when you tell us that you messed up. Does that make
I
sense?
shouldn't have brought it up.
You just
Right.
I should
That's,
just
that's the point.
Right.
I should just stop talking for 2 minutes.
Right, but that's
Focus.
but here's the thing is that you knew the closer, right? Because
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that you had it set up in what we call BCA format, where you're opening with the second strongest tag, and then the weakest
No.
one's in the middle, and the third one's the big hit.
That wasn't it at all.
Okay.
I
Do you know what I mean when I say
if,
that?
If I'm being honest, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. And when I do like a set, I will plan it out like that. I guess for this, I thought that I wanted to kind of do something that I could talk about afterwards. So the way I had it planned out is I talk about my parents, I come up here, you guys go, oh, what are your parents like, and what are this? But then I saw that it was like a little bit longer of a set, so I'm like, all right, I'll do some of that game material earlier. And then, so I did that, and then, so there was no process of thinking like,
No,
well,
that's a great process, because you're changing on the fly. You're seeing what happened with Marty, and you're saying, oh, this isn't what I expected to be. I need to evolve. I need to do something different. So that's really smart in terms of making the choice to suit what's happening. And that's actually being very deregulated, which is what I'm preaching, which is not just to be able to do your show only in an order. And I learned that the hard way, because I got up and somebody, make a long story short, somebody handed me an opening to get into a piece. Like the MC just set me up perfect, and I went in and I fucking slaughtered it. And I had this great, it was a 6-minute set, and I had a great 4 minutes. And then I got to the place where that piece lived in my mind that I had opened with, and there was a hole. So I had this great 4 minutes, and then I just sucked ass because I lost it, because I was so used to doing it in the order that I couldn't adjust myself. So that's kind of what it is. I'm sorry.
What? No, I was just going to say specifically some great jokes, like the Pick Myself Up at 19, the shows with your dad making ends meet. Those are like real anchors. And you remind me a little, if you don't mind, I'm sure people say, but Dane Cook, a little bit.
yeah, I
You
got
get Dane Cook?
I got that when I first started.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get that at all.
But
I really enjoyed it. Just a joke, Dan. Just a
You know what's
joke.
so funny is I used to watch Dane Cook all the time, and then when I started, I was very like, walk around, animated, and then I started hanging out with some comics, and then they were like, I hate Dane. Like it was right in that phase where there was kind of like that backlash on him, and I was just like a 19-year-old kid, and I was like, what? How could you hate the greatest man alive?
Listen,
How old are you now?
25,
Okay, and how long you been doing comedy?
6 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
great.
How much time do you have?
I was doing an hour in Canada, but I had a lot of jokes about picking up women.
Okay, so you have a Canadian hour and 30 in the States?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Perfect.
I got a closeted hour and then a 10 minutes out.
okay.
No, I thought you also my comments are all, you have an amazing voice, a very commanding voice, and the only thing I want to say to you about that is that, when you say something, I'm listening, and so that's very powerful. You have a big opportunity to surprise us, big opportunity, because it's very clean and clear and like opinionated and strong,
Yeah. Sorry, I can't help myself. You also have a tell that you're living in your head, which is that you're stepping past reveals. So that means that you're hitting us with a punchline. We're going to laugh, and you keep talking. So you're talking over us. So you're training us to be quiet. Does that make sense? So the particular one
never
was.
thought of that.
Yeah. When I was in business school, how does that bit go for you?
I dropped out. I was in business school because I wanted to be like my father, and then I dropped out to do stand-up comedy, which really upset him. But I was like, Dad, you don't understand, between me doing the shows and you giving me money, I can make ends meet.
Right. And so if you take a bigger pause between me doing comedy and you giving me money, that's your punchline. So you jump in too soon on that, and so you're training us to not laugh. Does that make sense?
I've never heard that, but I'll think about that for sure now.
Yeah, and then also just in that setup there, you've got a place for a joke. Okay, so when you do the first sentence isn't really necessary for the joke itself, but you lead us to a place, and then there's no punchline there. Right. So the first sentence you say is, "I was in business school."
Because I want to be like my father.
Boom.
There's a joke there.
There's something there. Right. Not gay. Next sentence. Right. I was in business school. I want to be like my father. Not gay. Great. And then what's the next sentence you have?
But then I dropped out to do stand-up comedy, which really upset him.
Gay.
It all comes back.
I'm not saying those will work. I'm just saying that you've
Yeah.
got those points there, and obviously there's a lot of baggage that we all assume goes into a father and son relationship when the son is gay.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If I send in an audition tape to the Flappers Comedy Festival, would you watch my whole set and after every punchline go, gay? Not gay.
No, I actually.
Okay.
Well,
no.
just you made it relevant, and just
Yeah.
like I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's just in terms of the conversation with your father, it's just a loaded thing. You don't have to
Yeah.
go there, but that's that's what I would do.
I want to give him a tag,
I'm
Dave.
sorry.
I know
Yeah,
you
do
can
it.
write a joke here. We always like to be specific. I do anyway. Like when you said
don't.
wrench, water hose. There's a third one there, right? You only had
There's two, yeah.
What was the
I
setup
know,
on
but
that?
you had two.
Wrench.
What's the setup for the joke?
My dad made a dictionary, and then it would be like wrench.
Yeah, but it's not a list, so you can do more or fewer of those.
Yeah.
That works either way.
Wrench, a wrench, water hose.
But you do open the door to get really crazy personal.
there's
You
a
put
lot.
love in there, and then
Yeah.
you can reinterpret love, and that's just crazy. You know what I mean?
Romance. Yeah.
Love means accepting him anyway. Yeah, sorry about the gay thing, but you started it. You know what I mean?
You're right. I was born this way.
Well,
so.
yeah. Well, and listen, and your joke about it took me until I was 19 is just a
Yeah,
brilliant joke.
that's a great
I mean,
joke.
it's just a brilliant joke, and
Tell.
there's so much emotion related to that in terms of self-acceptance that we can all relate to. I mean, that was just fantastic. I did think that when the guy goes to the second vegetables, you went to carrots and he went to potatoes. Then maybe he's gay, maybe he's not. If he goes to cucumbers, clearly he's gay. So produce is just important. And just
Yeah,
for the
Dave on
record,
this one.
there are guys that are looking for other guys just to talk about produce. Just so you know, that's not
He's
a weird
one of
thing.
them, and
With
it's
that,
not a
no,
gay.
this is
it's not
this
a
is
gay
this
thing.
is this is a serious question I have for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, being friends with guys has been hard for me growing up.
Uh-huh.
So, would a guy be a friend with a guy from a supermarket? Would that happen?
It would be very odd.
Yeah.
Farmer's market for sure.
Petco, maybe.
I don't know that I've ever made a male friend in a shopping environment.
Okay. Yeah, because I would assume it would be odd,
But I did know the name of the guy at the last supermarket. Roberto
yes.
was the produce guy. We chatted quite a bit.
Yeah, because the weird thing is I've been looking at my past male friendships, and I've seen there's been a subconscious, hitting on them
Uh-huh.
that I never, and I went through some old Facebook messages, and there was this girl, she's like, I feel like you're manipulative with my boyfriend, and, stuff like that. But,
Is this part of your act?
one day, maybe.
Well, it totally should be.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm pointing. That's the when you're talking authentically about something that matters to you, right?
Mhm.
That's the kind of stuff, because that's really funny.
Yeah.
I like you. I think you're adorable, and I hope to see more of you.
I like that you guys are together.
Oh, you do? I
Yeah.
don't.
It's such a cute story.
A lot of people don't know, but
Oh.
it's tough.
It's better when people don't know.
Yeah.
Just
it
helps
is.
my dating.
Right. But you're from Canada, so you haven't been here that long. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I've been here for, it'll be a year in September.
Oh, great, great. Well, I hope to see more of you.
Welcome, and I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I always
Josh,
apologize
do you
to
have anything?
Canadians. It seems obligatory.
No,
Josh is being very quiet today.
yeah.
You don't want him to do Thundercats material? Yeah? No?
I have
It's
no,
mine. Thundercats is my material. Don't touch it.
I don't think Thundercats ever hit Canada.
Right. See?
Really?
He doesn't know what it is.
Canada
That's
is
good.
a place
That's
of
good
intelligence.
info to know.
Netflix, my friend. Netflix.
Good info.
Sorry.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
It was great to have you.
Yeah.
Justin, did I say it right?
Jordan.
Jordan. How do you say the last name? Say his name right. Jordan Chyzowski.
Chyzowski.
Jordan
Just like it's
Chyzowski.
spelled.
I really wanted to say it right. Thank
don't
you
know
so
how it's
much,
spelled.
Jordan. All right, what an interesting day today. Burbank Comedy Festival. Guns, Marty and Jordan. It was fun. It was fun. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So-
It was.
No,
Yes, it was fun. It was
wasn't
fun. It was fun.
Dave is
And a
trying
big
to get
shout
out
out to
of
our
here.
audience, Crystal, Alvin, and Vinny. Nice job hanging in there. Thank you for being here.
There's more people than that in here, Dave.
Okay.
Oh boy, he's so inspiring. All right.
Well, I'm just appreciating the audience that's here.
Let's talk about who's coming up this weekend at Flappers. We have an amazing show this weekend.
Yes, we have Matt Eisman from American Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warriors. You know that show?
Yes, I do.
Anyone been on that show? It's
never.
crazy. I'm not fit enough to be on that show.
We have Tony Baker from Last Comic Standing is at our club in Claremont this weekend.
Yes. Tony had some big highlights last night on the Last Comic Standing if you were watching it. So go see him live in Claremont. He's amazing.
Yes, indeed. And then next week we have the very great Ian Bagg.
Oh, he's never headlined at Flappers before, so
Flappers first.
he's a new one, and you'll love him. He's at the Comedy and Magic Club all the time. He's fantastic.
And then also in Claremont next week we have what is it? Oh God. Oh, I knew this. Alice Wetterland. Yes. Alice Wetterland from Girl Code, MTV Girl Code.
And the Preferred Parking Comedy Tour is
Right,
on
yes,
Thursday
special
next
Thursday
week.
show.
Samuel J. Comroe and Drew Lynch, you'll want to check them out. They're on our roster. We're very excited about them. And please check out the BurbankComedyFestival.com. There's lots of new updates and see all the comedians that will be showcasing August 17th through 23rd. It's going to be a great time. It's open to the public, so come on down and check out those comedians. And thanks again for joining us on another episode of the FlappCast. I'm Barbara Holliday.
I'm Joshua Snyder. And that's the end.
I was like, I'm trying to get out right on that. I was trying to get out on that hit. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.